Okay, you guys, let's do this. It's going to be so professional. Like, so professional. Here we go. Well, welcome to the Live Support Podcast with your hosts, Michele VanDusen and Colson, a couple of clean comedians who support each other and others through comedy's wacky and winding roads. I hope you're ready. Get set. Let's go. Since podcasts have a catchy tune, we wrote this song for Michele and June. Clean comedians are best friends too. Oh, it's so good. And you never know what they'll say or do. Here we go, sing with me on Live Support, with Michele who's really short. We'll have a ball, with June who's really tall. They have fun, interviewing comedians on Live Support, with Michele who's really short. Now it's time to start Live Support.
The Live Support Podcast is brought to you by the Hot Breath Comedy Network.
Wow, give yourself a round of applause. Welcome to the Live Support Podcast. I'm your host, June Colson, here with my best friend, Michele, with one L VanDusen.
What?
Michele with one L VanDusen. Did you see? Okay, y'all, welcome to this episode. This is a catch-up episode, like ketchup and mustard. Are you going to be mustard and I'll be the ketchup?
I was hitting the bottom of the ketchup bottle.
Oh, okay. Here's a question.
So it's got to be,
Are you mustard or are you mayo? Like if you got a hamburger, what do you get on it?
Cheese,
You
lettuce,
don't
and tomato.
You don't do condiments on your hamburger?
I used to love ketchup on all my hamburger stuff, right? But being married to a man who does not enjoy any of those condiments at all, I don't bother with it because it's hard. Like if you're going through a drive-through, you're like, yeah, can I get da 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 da? And then he wants such and such with no sauce, no this, no that. They always mess up always mess up the order. So it's like, just get me the same thing you're getting, and we'll just go from there.
Oh, you're one of those people. You're those people who pull up at the McDonald's drive-thru. I want a bacon, egg, and cheese biscuit with no bacon, no egg, the biscuit, but then I don't want the regular cheese. They love you at McDonald's. They really do.
No, actually at McDonald's, the only thing that I asked Ross this past weekend, could you grab me a coffee and get me a bacon, egg, cheese, right? The bacon, egg, cheese, egg McMuffin, the McMuffin, right? I wanted the McMuffin. He likes the croissants. I want the McMuffin. And he came back with a chicken sandwich. I'm like, what is this?
He's like, I don't think it's chicken.
Well,
I don't think it's chicken.
It was apparently,
I don't know what it is.
I got up late, and so I totally missed breakfast time frame. And so they don't serve breakfast all day. Unless it's a burrito, and I'm like, I don't want a burrito. I'm like, okay, next time if they don't have what I want, don't bring anything. Just don't do that because he's over there eating a Big Mac because he does like the Big Mac sauce.
Okay,
right? Yeah, because it's that Thousand Island. That's the only
dressing. Yeah, of all the stuff, but that's the one he likes. Is the one.
Yeah.
The
Which
most
I'm like,
stuff.
That's ketchup and mayonnaise mixed with some relish in there. Are you sure? And he's like, don't tell me. I'm like, okay. Because I've made the Big Mac sauce at home before. And he's like, oh, this is pretty good. I'm like, yeah, it's good. It's exactly what anyway. But on his salad, he only gets Thousand Island. Otherwise it's dry every time. He doesn't do ranch. He doesn't do any of the other stuff. But yeah, he was eating a Big Mac and then he gave me this chicken sandwich. I'm like, no, next time just don't. Just get. And I like the coffee black, and then I want the creams and sugars on the side because I want to mix it.
Yes,
sure enough, every time I'm like, oh, they mixed it in there every single time.
Michelle's never had issues with control. I must do it myself. Okay, can you see how important influences are in your life? Because I just brought you down like the rabbit hole of attention deficit with me because this is not even anything about what we're going to talk about other than it's the catch-up episode because we're going to catch up with what's kind of been going on in our lives lately. But I want to tell you that right now, I can't even eat
right to food.
I want to give you fair warning. I've been doing for a long time a sugar-free diet. And by a long time, I mean
like 10 minutes.
I got up this morning, and since I got up, I haven't had sugar. Okay. And so
are you sure?
that is something that I'm going to try. Now, you might think that I was inspired because, Michelle, have you ever broke your scales? Have you ever stepped on your scales and your scales said not today and parts just fell off of it?
I've had my scale scream at me, get off.
Listen, this is what I didn't know. Like this look at it. It's just pieces are falling off. This is how my scales feel about my big old hiney right now. It's almost an evil. Look at that. There was evil in it the whole time. It's not a smile.
That's totally
evil.
smiling at you.
That's
it's
a
smiling.
skeleton looking
Here,
eyeball.
let me go to the wide shot. Here we go. There
Evilness right there. Look, the batteries, like the little pouch or whatever that holds the batteries. The batteries just fell out. Like they just fell and then like the feet fell off of it. And like it was so bad, my scale. So I was like, I can't eat sugar anymore. I'm done. It's just, but here's the cool part. I didn't know
pasta.
That's a sensor. There's 4 sensors and you stand on it. And that's where it's like measuring your gravitational pull towards the earth. Cause I don't weigh anything.
Yeah.
It's gravitational pull. You know what I mean?
That's exactly what it is. I'm so light on the moon.
Yes. And so yeah, it just fell apart. And but I do want to give you fair warning. I really am trying to do I'm trying to go sugar-free for a little bit. So I feel like in the next, if I make it a week or 2, I'm probably going to get pretty evil for a little while. So I just anything that I say in my non-sugar days, I feel like just don't hold that against me. You know what I mean? Because the struggle is real. The struggle is real. No, I do. I honestly am trying. I am trying to. The thing is, I love all foods. Like, there's not hardly anything I won't eat. So it's not like if I go sugar free, I can't find something I like to eat. I love fruits. I love vegetables. I love almost like all meats. There's, whatever. And so the more that I learn about sugar and stuff like that and the toxins in it and all of those things and what it does to your body, and coming from a family with diabetes and those kind of things, I'm doing it. So I may have to quit comedy because I have a feeling I'm not going to be real funny. I might be one of those insult comics. I may just like go on stage and insult skinny people. I'm not sure what's going to happen. I just need y'all to be prepared for the ride. Are you ready for the ride, Michelle?
I'm ready for that ride because you're not going to have any energy. You're almost going to be like the vegan comic. So close. Because if you have no sugar in you, you have no energy. I'm just saying.
Well, I'll do natural sugars. I'll do natural sugars. Like I love fruit, so I'll eat apples and bananas and things like that. And I don't know. Most of the stuff that I've read, it actually eventually, once your body kind of detox from it, you actually have more energy by not having the processed sugars and those kind of things.
Okay, so you're stopping extracurricular sugar is what I'm hearing. So no candy, no ketchup because ketchup has sugar added into it. Are you also looking at labels and looking at anything that's caro syrup?
Oh
Because
yeah,
that's a
anything
big thing too.
I think I read there's 67 different terms for sugar. Like, you don't even know, but obviously anything that says syrup or whatever. And it may make for some good comedic material later on. We'll see how long I last. Maybe by this time next week, I'll be done with this whole thing. But until then,
should we check in every week, and do a live or something every week and just see, ooh, Angry June's here.
at a certain point, you're just going to see me back there with that with that guitar, which I played when Deanna Lane was on, and I may be like in the fetal position in my Cookie Monster pajamas, just rocking back and forth and strumming, a not real guitar.
Okay, see, so right there, you're going to have Cookie Monster pajamas, so you're not getting rid of all the sugar. I'm sorry. You have all the idols still sitting there.
It'll be on the outside of me, not the inside of me. As long as it's on the outside, we're okay. But hey, okay. So speaking of Deanna Lane, We've had Deanna Lane this season. I'm just, it's just been so much fun. So we started out with a brand new theme song and lots of really cool guests. I was just looking over the list. Okay. So we've had Deanna Lane, we've had Brian Kahatsu, Jeff Allen, Lee Harden, Kim Curly, Andrea
Kaspari. Andrea
Is that how you say
Kaspari.
it?
Yes, it is. Kaspari.
Sally.
Jesse Raphael. No, we had it's Funny Gal Sale. So it's Sally Bauke.
Yes. And Sylvia
Morrison.
Sylvia
I knew there was.
Morrison.
And I'm so sorry, Sylvia.
Do we not get the best guest ever? I'm telling you guys, if you have not, if you're not caught up on those episodes, you got to go back and catch every one of those.
Did you mention Jeff Allen? We had Jeff Allen too.
I did say Jeff, didn't
I?
I?
Okay.
Well, if I didn't, and Jeff, how do you say his last name?
Alon. Alan.
Jeff Allen. Oh my gosh. And each individual guest that we've had, as we've eased into this season 2 of the Life Support Podcast, each guest has offered just unique and different insights and experiences. And it has been so much fun. You got to see. Okay. So for me, I don't know. I hate to pick it's hard to pick when I sit there and look at it. And I think like with Andrea, I just had so much fun. She just lights up my life. Like I don't know. There's just something about her that I just need more Andrea in my life. Sally,
little more
Michele
in my
life.
Little more Sally in my life. Little more. Oh. I like the masks. The masks were so much fun. In fact, when I see you this summer, I will bring one of those masks for you because she accidentally sent it to my house, not realizing we weren't in the same room or in the same state.
So funny.
So, so that was a lot of fun.
That's an episode you have to watch. You have to go to the Creative Motion Network on Roku TV and view it there, or Vimeo,
for beauty tips and more.
Yes, or our YouTube channel, because some of the episodes you got to see what's happening, and my family, the Jeff Allen episode, my family has watched that. The most fun about that is the very beginning where I'm talking about frying an egg. Michele, your laughter, like my dad was laughing at you laughing. Like my dad was cracking up. But let's talk about, so we'll talk about my dad in a minute. Let's talk about your dad. This is so cool. So tell me about your sister shooting you a message. That was my dog sneezing, by the way. He's allergic to this conversation.
So a few weeks back, my sister was visiting my dad and she sent me a text with a picture in it. And the picture was you and I from season 1, like episode 2. And she said, "This is what Dad and I are doing today." I'm like, "Oh, that's nice." And then you didn't want to have him keep sneezing. And then she put, "Dad told his caregiver," he goes, "that's my baby," which I thought was so cool. And then within seconds, my sister then sent me a small little video clip of me talking about how I first started in comedy and how basically
we
my
blamed
sister,
her, right? Didn't we?
Yes, I blame my sister because I was homeschooling,
come on,
criticized. Yeah. And so the text goes, "I wasn't criticizing, I was helping." I was like, I know. And then I actually told her, I'm like, "Well, we've mentioned you in at least 16 episodes." And she's like, "Oh, I'm famous." I'm like, 16? I meant 6. So now I'm going to be determined to make sure I mention my sister Tricia.
Yes,
Tricia Boyd.
Tricia.
Several times now. Almost every episode that I can.
If you just on this episode say Tricia, Marcia, Tricia. Then we have mentioned her at least 16 times. So Tricia.
Okay, well, you know what? So let me tell you,
name to say multiple times in a row.
Well, the thing, she started off as Patricia, right? So and then it went to Patty when she was in high school or whatever, and then it went to Tricia. So she's had a change in her names throughout the years. But the other thing is, a few days before she was visiting my dad, she was somewhere in Florida. I'm not really sure. And she got to wash an elephant. So she sent me a picture of her helping washing the no, she was painting the nails, the elephant's nails. I'm like,
The
that is so
elephant
crazy.
asked for that because I feel like
Yes.
they've been out in safari for ever, and God created a funny little nose
Well,
on them where they can. Have you seen them wash themselves? It's like,
yes.
what if that happened? What if you flip that, right? What if random other mammals just came up and went, "Come here, June, I'm gonna give you a bath," and just
Well,
started
you're not in
rubbing you?
captivity, June. Oh wait, you're married. So
Yeah,
no.
well, I'm a
No,
mother.
so it was an animal sanctuary or elephant sanctuary, kind of a thing. And so they have to be maintained, they have to have the certain oils in their body and things like that. And, Florida is not their origin of, it's not where they live, but they do now. So you got to add all this stuff. I asked her, I'm like, well, are you going to paint it pink? I think that elephant wants some color. She's like, no, it's the proper oils, blah, blah. I'm like, whatever. Okay, fine.
So no
Yeah.
fun like
Nah.
designs or
Yeah.
no.
But it's
Have
a
you
whole
seen those videos
experience.
where people are doing like they put this gel stuff on and inside of it it'll have fluid, it'll be like lava lamps in their fingernails and all of this. Would you look at my nails, Michelle? Look at my nails.
Yeah.
I have that one and that
This
one,
little
that one.
piggy.
I'm still there,
Oh,
but the thumb is missing. I've got a pinky now, but the ring finger's gone. Like I was picking them up in the
yeah.
floor of the grocery
My
store
thumb's missing too.
yesterday.
Oh,
Where'd it go? Where'd it go?
I have these are, this is housework
What
nails.
is that like? I can't do that trick, especially looking into this thing where you're like,
Yeah.
I don't know, whatever. No, I don't do that. Like I glue on the nails, but they don't ever stay on. And yesterday I was
I'm
at
gonna
the
back off
grocery
for nails.
store and one just like flew off. That's more than once I have lost a nail at the grocery because I usually go on Monday after a show on the weekend and then I'm flicking fingernails and it's so gross. That's so gross. And
No,
I'm
no.
discreetly trying to pick up my nail off the floor.
Oh,
Like I hope
no.
nobody
What
sees it.
is grosser than having a nail in your communion cup?
Mm.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know if you've told that story on here or not. I know
I
you
don't
told
know.
me that story. I don't know if we've told it on here or not, but give us
Yeah.
the recap just in case we've said it because it had to be on episode or season 1. So
I think
that
so. I
was
think
so
so.
funny.
So yeah. So somebody in church, a few rows behind me, they were clipping their nails while they're passing out the communion elements. And for whatever reason, um, I was just contemplating, just looking down at my cup, and I'm like, oh wow, I have the whole body of Christ in here. I have a nail. I thought it was a fingernail. It was just somebody was clipping their nails over in church.
Oh my
And
gosh.
then I
What
gotta
part of communion is that in? It was like take the bread and break it as my body and the grape, the
and
wine
file
is my
away.
blood. And then where did that's the wrong interpretation of nail when it comes to Jesus Christ. That's not
Thank
the
God
kind
there
of
wasn't
nail.
3 nails, right?
Oh my
Oh,
gosh.
3 nails in my cup.
That's so crazy.
Yeah,
That's
it
so
was,
crazy. Well, okay, so your dad and your sister have been
yeah,
watching,
yeah.
and your sister Tricia,
Trisha,
and
yes, that's
yep,
right. She's
Tricia,
helped me
Tricia.
with my career, my comedy
Yeah,
career.
who
She's
is
the
it
one that
again?
got
What's
me
her name?
started. Trisha, my oldest
Tricia.
sister, Trisha. That's right.
Tricia with a T
With
or
a T,
with a
T,
T?
T R
Okay,
I
not a.
C I A.
Okay, got it. Tricia with a T. And listen, our sisters
Trisha.
are responsible for a lot of stuff, and we can blame them or we can give them credit. But I just want to
Your
say thanks,
sister,
Tricia.
yeah,
Yes,
but now your sister is she's part of our opening song, right?
she is. Hey, do you think Trisha would sing a song for us for our
Oh, good Lord, no.
podcast?
No,
Like,
she'll
come
paint our
on.
nails. She'll paint
That
our
would be
nails.
awesome. That would be awesome. But just with the
No.
oils, no cool. Actually, I only have I only have
I
8
need
nails right now. So
I have
that's not
all
a
my
lot.
nails. I just need help. I was doing Legos this week and tearing them up and they just tore up my nails.
Oh,
Yep.
okay. Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
but now did your sister write our song or did you write the
Oh
song?
gosh, no. Sorry, I'm
Sang
trying to
it?
shut my bedroom door because my
What are you
son's
doing?
downstairs yelling, "Hello, hello!" Like, shh, mommy's busy right now. He's probably gonna peek in. Okay, so no, my sister didn't write it. She is a teacher, and it was snowing that day, So she had the snow day because in
Snow
Kentucky,
day.
they're like, oh, there's 4 flakes on the ground. Shut her down. Everybody go home, you know? And so, so I went over to the house and I was like, hey, we're going to write this song. And so my sister and her husband just kind of strummed along and then started playing the piano. And we did this kind of
And then
vaudeville
you
goofy
just-
thing.
And let me see if I got this right. You wrote that song, the original, the song that we're using, actually as a joke towards me because you just started off just calling me short. Is that how this all
So
started?
I just in the original version of it, I called Michelle short probably 6 times or
Yeah.
whatever. And then of course she wanted to edit it down down to her level.
Yeah, it was like 10 minutes long.
Okay. So,
Awful.
so my sister's been responsible for a lot of stuff too. That's right. But I'm so glad that your sister and your dad are watching it. And I don't care how old we get. When your dad calls you their baby, this is my baby. I was my dad's baby. I was his baby girl until, 23andMe or Ancestry.com found out that I had, and there's another one of us out there. Speaking of sisters, hi Leslie, I love you, little sister. She gets to be the baby now.
Leslie.
I'm the middle child. That's the only thing I had going for me is that I was the baby girl. And
but
then
you're a giant.
Oh my gosh. And then yes, and she's tiny and cute and petite. And I tell people it's God knew what he was doing because I would have hated her if we grew up together because she's athletic and she's funny and she's smart and she's adorable. And who wants that for a baby sister? You know what I mean? I was like, ugh,
Not me.
yuck, gross.
Oh, wait,
Okay.
that's what I was.
You were the little bratty sister. That's right.
Oh, I wasn't a brat.
Oh, I'm sure you weren't. That's why I want to interview Tricia to find out the truth. I bet we'll never see her on an episode of Last
You know what? She probably would accept that interview. And that nope. We're not going to
Are we
interview
not
Tricia.
doing it? Are we not?
No.
We're not going
But
there. Oh my
You
goodness.
know who else we need to give a shout out to is our listeners in India and Australia and
That's so cool.
Pakistan. And we just picked up a couple of listeners from South Africa.
That's so awesome.
Yeah, and we have
That's so
listeners in
awesome.
Brazil and the Netherlands.
I'll tell you who we need to have on is Griff, comedian Griff. He's in South Africa all the time. I think he's got family and stuff there. And he goes, yeah. Like oh my gosh, he'll post videos and stuff of going and just having such a great time. And I think, man, one day I want to go there. So wouldn't that be crazy if like someone in South Africa who listens has seen Griff? Because I know he's performed in South Africa and he's, he goes back and forth there quite often. So
now, does he go by a full name or is it just Griff? Just comedian Griff? Just
comedian Griff.
Yeah. I think we should really have him on sometime. So
I gotta reach out to him. I gotta reach out to him.
And also our Canadians. Hello.
Oh, hey.
Yep. And then Ireland and some other places. So worldwide, June.
I always knew. Isn't it cool to be able to sit in your own house and be worldwide? I like that. I can't think of worldwide without like the word worldwide without the movie Step Brothers coming to mind. So I know you've never seen Step Brothers, but I have boys and it's a very inappropriate movie, but Prestige Worldwide was like their big.
Okay. So that right there, that's a comedy, right?
Yes, it's a comedy.
Right. So Step Brothers is a comedy. So you can also not only do stand-up comedy, but you can also write comedy for movies or for other things like that too. So there's this comedy fits everywhere. So now, I have not watched that because you said it's inappropriate humor.
It is inappropriate. You don't need to watch it.
But there's
Michelle.
What if I got that little thing on TV where it edits, like all the profanity or things
Clear
like that?
Play. There's a thing called Clear Play, and of course we're not advertising for anybody or whatever. But my acting coach, his name is TC Stallings, and he's been in all kinds of feature films, and he's got a film coming out. It's
you have to use Clear
May
Play?
6th or May 9th. No, it'll be in theaters.
Oh, okay.
So man, I really should have asked him if he wanted to come on. It's not a comedy at all, but he's basically playing the role of a somebody, a real life person who lived in Florida and and it's called No Vacancy, and it's super cool, super cool. But anyway, he goes and does some ministry and stuff, and it's sponsored by Clear Play, and Clear Play basically they clean it up. So like if if that particular film was available on there, and I think there's been some other platforms that tried to do it, but they didn't really go the proper routes maybe. But ClearPlay has like full on permission to modify these films and stuff. So if you like, comedy, but there's certain ones that you're like, I don't want to hear the language, or I don't want to see A, B, C, or D.
Scenes.
Yeah, ClearPlay edits that out. So, but you're right. Yeah, people write comedy and films. Speaking of my friend TC, so just yesterday in our group, I had written a monologue for Michele, and it was meant to be a character that had a little bit of grit, little edginess, little rawness to the character, but
Michele,
also some humor.
Is that Tricia's sister? Is that who that was?
Yeah, Tricia's sister, Michele
okay.
VanDusen. Yeah, Tricia. Well, used to be Patricia, but then it was Patty. But now we're tight. We're pretty close. So I just call her Tricia. Sometimes Trish, but she likes Tricia right now. So that's okay. We can, we'll go with what makes her comfortable. But yeah, so my friend Tricia's sister Michele, she performed the monologue, and then I was able to share that with my group, because sometimes I'll write stuff that I'm not going to perform, but someone else can. And that happens even with comedy. There's writers, people who write for, who write for people just like you and me. And there are a lot of big names that have writers that write for them as well. And it used to be this like, a badge of honor that, I write all my stuff and it's all my material, but I can't imagine once you get to a certain level, how difficult it is if you're doing film and television, and you're going and doing these big concerts and all of those things, to be able to dedicate time to sit down and write, because we even
so much content.
I say I write all of my stuff, but technically I write probably 99% of my stuff, but there's a percent that you contributed to, and our friend Rhonda and my friend Mike and Brian Kahatsu, who's been on the show, and Robert G. Lee, we write with that group once a week, right? So, and he's been a guest. He was a guest on our first episode. Speaking of Ketchup, we'll catch up
first season, yeah,
our first season. I mean, and so Lee Harden, who was our first guest on this season, I met him in a writers group, and so and what's really fun is when you do add a tag or you help somebody in a writers group. And then later you get to see them perform that, and it hits.
Yes. That's the best.
I helped with that, I mean, it's one thing like you get paid when you're truly writing for somebody, but there's also no shame in that game either. If you're at that level and you can't sit and write a new hour every, whatever year, and you've got wise people around you who know your comedy voice and can help you develop stuff, why not, right?
Well, and so that's the thing too, is, if you're in a writer's group, right? And let's say, so June, you said 99% or whatever is yours, but then you talked about all these people adding to it. So let's say we're taking one of your jokes, and then I have this great funny tag to it, or I can add something to it. Now, does that joke remain yours, or do I get to have that because I wrote that? You know what I mean? A lot of people get confused with when you're writing in a group. That most important thing to remember is that the stuff that you're working on, it's for that comic. It's not for you. So like if there's a particular joke that you wrote, and then we're all adding to it, and then there's a different joke that I wrote, and we're all adding to it. I don't know, some people feel like when they're in a certain group that, oh, well, you stole my material. No, we're adding to your material so you can have it. And that's the best, because we're not competing. No, we're cooperating. We're
well, sometimes like somebody will say something that will spark a thought, and if it's not along that line of, let's say, like in our in our writing group, basically, it's very, like with Robert's group, it's very organized, and you have X amount of minutes, you do it, you finish, and everybody gives feedback on it. So you understand that what you're throwing out there. Now, in the writers group like that I do with Jeff at his home, sometimes we'll be talking, we're kind of the same format, but then someone else will kind of go off in a different direction, say something that's really funny, and people are always very respectful. It goes, oh, wait, are you like, is that something you use? Is that something you do? Is that something you will use? Because that's really funny. You should use it. And a lot of times the comedian's like, oh, yeah, that's funny. But that's not something I would say on stage. And another comedian will say, can I have that?
And they're like, yeah, go for it.
Yeah, it's yours. Yeah, go for it. You know, but the people who are very professional and respectful, there is always that you ask, can I have that? You know, you don't just take it. But it's obvious knowledge or general, you know, understanding that if we're working on Michelle's bit and I give a tag on Michelle's bit, why do I need that tag? If I just throw it out there, that literally is for your joke, not a joke I did, right?
Yeah, but usually I'll start a joke off saying, okay, June Colson made this joke funnier, and then I'll give the joke, you know, and give you props to.
And everyone in the audience goes, who? That's not Tricia's sister. Michelle's Tricia's sister. Ain't nobody heard of June. What are you talking about?
.com is where you're going to find June Colson. Follow her. Okay, so June.
Yes.
Just a couple weeks ago, you just opened, right, for one of the guys in your writers group.
Yes.
And I heard that you encountered a heckler that night. Can you give us a quick rundown of what happened and how did you handle it?
Oh, I can't do anything quick, Michelle, but sure. Okay, so Jeff Allen. So Jeff was on our show. We interviewed him. We talked about how I was going to open for him here in my hometown. That's what I did in the theater that I did Bye Bye Birdie in 30 years ago. I got to take a picture in the same dressing room that I was in.
You were the floozy.
I was the floozy in Bye Bye Birdie, and that's what my mother told everyone. That's my daughter. She's a floozy. Mom, there needs to be some, you know, context clues to what you're talking about there, but whatever. But it was really cool to, you know, to be able to do a show in my hometown. A local radio personality was there and he was the MC. He was just basically walking out on stage saying, hey, everybody, welcome. Here's some shows that are going on, you know, in the next whatever, and just kind of that general information. Nope. Yeah. And then he was like, I'm going to introduce the floozy now that's opening the show. But as this cat's up there just saying, you know, welcome, and here's some upcoming shows, some guy in the audience, and this is a theater show. This isn't a drunken bar. This is, you know, and people pay good money for these tickets. And he starts shouting something. And of course, Jeff and I are in the wings, right? And because he had brought, like, he's just such a cool guy. He, you know, he pulled a stool up and he wanted to sit and listen and watch me when I performed. And so they, you know, they did a little spot for him or whatever. And so we're just sitting up there listening to him introduce me. And the guy starts yelling and the MC responds to him just kind of a, yeah, you know, and then he keeps going. And then the guy starts yelling again. And then Jeff's like, oh, yeah, it's not good to go back and forth with them. You know what I mean? Like we don't want to encourage that kind of behavior. And
so that's good right there is don't engage.
Yeah. Like,
okay, that's good.
Yeah. And so the guy was kind of, you know, doing that. And then he got quiet and they introduced me. When they introduced me, I could hear the guy yelling something when they introduced me. I come out, I get into, basically I kind of addressed that the fact that the show had been delayed because there was a tornado in our town. We were supposed to do this in December. I bragged on my community.
Okay, delayed by weeks, not by a few hours or a half hour.
Yeah, no, it was delayed by months, actually. We were supposed to do it in December, and we weren't able to do it until now, right? And so I, you know, I addressed that because there are a lot of people who are like, we've been waiting since December. And I just kind of bragged on my community of how they came together, and, you know, after the tornado and how great it was to be together and be able to just let loose and laugh because this community deserved it, you know, more than anybody. And he yelled something. I don't know what. I couldn't make out what he was saying or even where he was at in the room, which made me feel disarmed. And also just it wasn't expected because of the environment we were in. It was just very bizarre. And so I didn't address it.
Sit down. Oh,
yeah. I didn't address it in my heart. Like in my rhythm, I felt like there was this long pause in me in my mind or whatever. But when I went back and listened to the audio of it, there's no delay. You know what I mean? It's just like your brain functions in a whole different level when you're in that situation. It's crazy that you can be listening and talking and thinking everything all at once. Right. And so it was like, it was like everything kind of slowed down for a minute. And but he added this weird tension to the room, right? Because people were obviously uncomfortable that he was doing that. So I thought, he shouted out one more time, and I thought, okay, if he yells again, I have to address him. Like, I have to say something. And at that point, I think someone ushered him out, or whoever he was with shut him up, right? And then we were all able to get going, but I didn't acknowledge him. I didn't try to go back and forth with him or anything. So then afterwards, of course, Jeff comes out, he rocks the house. Everybody loved him. He was amazing. He was awesome. Just the laughs per minute is insane with him. Just one, I'm talking like, and the audience was with me by the end of my set. I do a couple things that kind of solicits applause, people were clapping and whatever. And so, definitely the room was ready for him, I think. And when he came out, he was just firing on all cylinders. And then afterwards, he was just like, well, that was just bizarre, wasn't it? That dude, like, did they pull him out? And he's been doing this forever. And you can expect a heckler probably anywhere, but at the same time, Jeff was like, I was, whatever. And I asked, because he is my mentor, my friend, and it was really cool to get to introduce him to my town too, and he said, I don't, his big piece of advice was, do not let them get a laugh. If you have to engage with them. And he said, what I usually do is I'll take a minute, I'll take 60 seconds, and I'll be like, hey, what's your name, buddy? Well, I'm Tom. Or really, what do you do, Tom? Tom, are you from around here? And he said, I will have a conversation. And he said, and I learned this from actually Bill Cosby was the one who first kind of talked about this technique. He said was, then he would say, okay, well, it was really nice to meet you, Tommy, or whoever. I'm going to work alone now. Okay. But I'll catch you after the show, and you and I can, take a picture or something together. How about that? And then, but he said, you don't let them get a laugh. You don't give them that attention that they're seeking, or that power. But at some point, you may have to go ahead and look and address and deal. And then a lot of times that'll give if you're in a club or a bar or something like that, that gives the bar owner or the club, people or whatever, some time to go, okay, they've had enough. Like, it's enough. And they can address the person if it doesn't tone it down from there. But other than that, my daddy Hot Dog was there. It was the first time that he's seen me on stage that. And my mom's in she's in a rehab facility right now. And so dad got to come without her, he was okay with that, which is awful to say, but it's just the God's honest truth. He's like, I hate that your mama can't go, but I'm kind of glad your mama can't go. She's so much work. She's so much work. So the Hot Dog got to just come and watch and laugh at a time that he really needed it. And Michelle, people in the lobby, they were like, yeah, we want a picture with you. But as soon as we're done, can we get a picture with Hot Dog? Would Hot Dog take a picture with us? Like, people were taking pictures with him in the lobby. It was so adorable.
You need to get his face on a t-shirt. You need to sell those.
Yeah, this is Hot Dog, like the real Hot Dog. Yep. Yeah, so that was, and I'm telling you, one of the girls, she was probably close to my age. And so that means like she was young to my dad, right? Like, she was probably close to my age. She was beautiful. And her husband came to like tell me a story that had to do with one of the jokes that I did. And they took a picture with me. And then the girl was like, I would really love to have a picture with Hot Dog if you'd let us. And I was like, of course he would love it.
That might be my daddy. No.
Yeah. Like, you don't know. He could be your father. But he felt so special. And Jeff took a picture with him. Jeff even posted the picture of him and dad together. And he's like, I got to take a picture with the Hot Dog, Jeff. Yeah, Jeff posted that picture. So that was it.
I love it.
That's how it all went down, my friend. And I think we're caught up. Are we caught up on the ketchup at this
I
point?
think so, because we started off with ketchup, we ended it with a hot dog.
Listen, don't pretend like that wasn't a whole genius move that we orchestrated before.
You're
So.
welcome.
Well, y'all, that's going to be it for this episode of the Laugh Support Podcast. Remember that you can always watch these episodes on Vimeo, on the Creative Motion Network on Roku TV, and we also have a YouTube channel. So check it out. And then if you're listening, or if you want to listen and you're watching, you can listen to it anywhere you get your podcast. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So Captivate, Amazon, Apple, it's all there. We all there. We
Everywhere.
all there. Well,
Yeah, and
Michelle,
you could even say, Alexa, play the Laugh Support Podcast on Amazon Music.
can you
and
really do
then-
that?
Yeah, and then she'll start playing it.
I don't have an Alexa. I have
Oh, my-
I have the SIRI. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not saying it because they're
Oh.
creepy. The SIRI on my iPad and on my cell phone talked to each other the other day. Michelle, it
Yes.
was more than my brain could. They were responding, and one was like, "Wow, you're really paying attention," and the other one said something else, and I was like, "I'm out, y'all. I'm out. Like this is too much for me. It's way too much."
I love it. I love it. I can stand in the kitchen and yell at because my son has an Alexa, and I could be like, Alexa, tell me a joke. And then she'll just start talking, but I'm not even in his room. It's
my
like
gosh.
he'll just start telling. Yeah, it's so
No,
fun.
that has to stop. All right, y'all. Well, that's speaking of having to stop. This has got to stop. We got to stop. It's out of control. All right, so definitely check us out, and hey, like our Facebook and Instagram accounts as well. We really don't mention that very often, and you can
No,
see
we
where
don't.
you can find me and Michelle too. So,
That's
all right, y'all. Well, that's it. You know how I always close, and I'm curious if Michelle's sticking with her closer. All right, that's it for this episode of Laugh Sport Podcast. Jesus and Junebug loves you. Tell him goodbye, Michelle.
Goodbye, Michelle. And this Michelle doesn't want you to go to hell. No, wait, what? What?
We're doing the weeds and the seeds. Now we're going to hell. Look, just get us out of here, Michelle. We gotta go. We gotta
Thanks for
go.
listening.
Good night.